Discover the incredible moment a hidden millionaire in a trunk changes a poor girl's life forever. 15-year-old Lily Jenkins was no stranger to hardships. Living in a small, struggling town in the Midwest, every day felt like an uphill battle. Her mother, a dedicated nurse, worked long hours to keep food on the table, often coming home exhausted and drained. But Lily didn't let that dim her spirit. Instead, she toiled alongside her mother, understanding that hard work was the fabric that stitched families together. With dreams of a brighter future igniting her soul, she navigated the treacherous waters of high school, often drowning in the sharp judgments of wealthier classmates who saw her family's poverty as a mark against her. One evening, during her volunteer shift at the local community center, she stumbled upon an old, dust-covered trunk hidden away in the attic. The attic smelled like history and forgotten dreams, and curiosity pulsed through her. With a swift motion, she pried it open, revealing faded mementos and a diary, its yellowed pages etched with stories from the past. As she read, her heart raced. This trunk belonged to a local war hero, someone who once had dreams of uplifting the community with a hidden fortune that was tragically never discovered. In that moment, something shifted inside her. The struggle of her town and the echoes of its weary past sparked a fire in Lily's chest. She felt a strong urge to honor his dreams and to ignite similar aspirations in those around her. Inspired, she vowed to change the narrative woven in old dust and faded ink. With grit and determination, she began piecing together the hero's story while urging her neighbors to confront the economic inequalities suffocating their town. The thrill of unity between broken families filled her with hope. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Just when she thought she was making progress, the reclusive millionaire, the current owner of the trunk, caught wind of her efforts and showed up unexpectedly. The confrontation was charged with intensity. Lily, with unwavering courage, challenged him. You think money defines worth? You think we are less because we struggle? We deserve more. Her voice rang out, affirming the resilience of her community and shaking the stony facade of the millionaire. Tension crackled in the air as judgments shifted. Lily's relentless spirit pushed boundaries, opening old wounds and fueling fiery passions. The moment was electric, her heart pounding through her chest. But as she stood, ready to confront her beliefs, a revelation from the diary nagged at her consciousness, laying a heavy weight of uncertainty on her heart. What secrets were buried deep within its pages? All eyes were on her, and the air was thick with anticipation. Would she continue her fight for dignity, or would she step back, paralyzed by fear? The question loomed, uncertainties swirling all around her in a kaleidoscope of emotions. With her community by her side and the specter of a hidden fortune at her back, she couldn't help but wonder what lay ahead on this path of discovery. Lily took a deep breath, her heart racing like the wind. She could feel the eyes of her neighbors, filled with hope and doubt, watching her every move. The millionaire stood before her, a figure of wealth and power, but in that moment, she felt something shift. It was as if the trunk in the attic had awakened her to the truth. She clenched her fists, feeling the weight of her resolve, absorbing the uncertainty churning inside her. Who are you to think your money can bury this town's dreams? She burst out, each word cutting like a knife through the stillness. You have a chance to make a difference, to give back. His expression turned to a mix of surprise and anger. You don't understand, he replied, his voice low but firm. Money doesn't solve everything. I've been burned by this town too many times. Lily took a step forward, the warm glow of determination radiating from her. Or maybe you've just been too afraid to try. Her words hung in the air, echoing louder than she anticipated. The faces of her fellow townspeople showed a flicker of recognition, as if she was voicing what they all felt deep down. With every moment, Lily felt a growing sense of purpose rising within her. She raised her chin, letting the smallness she often felt slip away. There's a legacy here. A chance to live for something greater than ourselves. The diary speaks of heart and sacrifice, of bringing hope and change. It's not just about wealth, it's about community. The millionaire's resolve wavered just a little. She noticed a glimmer of doubt in his eyes, the shadow of his past creeping back into view, and she pressed on. You have the power to help us. You can change the story, just like that hero once dreamed of. Why not join us? Help us reclaim our town with your resources. As she gestured to the crowd behind her, she caught sight of Mrs. Thompson, her elderly neighbor, who had lost her husband to illness before the town fell into despair. The frail woman, standing on tiptoe, met Lily's gaze with tears shimmering in her eyes. There were younger faces, 2 kids who had given up on the idea of college because they couldn't afford it, parents who worried daily about keeping their children fed. Lily, a voice broke through the tension. It was Marcus, her best friend, stepping closer to her side. What if it's true? What if he really can help us? His hand gripped her arm, grounding her. Lily turned to face her friend, her heart swelling. The lines between doubt and hope blurred, and for a brief moment, she saw a collective yearning in the eyes of everyone around her. We can fight for each other, she called, feeling the energy shift. This can be our moment. The millionaire stood still, seemingly torn between his past grievances and the flicker of possibility in front of him. Could he truly step back into the community he had long abandoned? The silence stretched on, thick and charged with anticipation. Would he shake off his past and rise to the challenge? Or would he simply return to his life of isolation, allowing dreams to wither away once more? Just then, the overhead lights flickered, jolting everyone back to reality. The moment teetered on a knife's edge. Lily could feel her breath hitching in her chest, a sense of urgency sparking through her veins. As she locked eyes with the millionaire, a final question hung in the air, heavy with promise and doubt. What would his decision be? The weight of hope rested on a fragile thread, leaving everyone wondering if this was the moment they'd been waiting for or just another disappointment. Lily's heart raced again, but this time, it was with anticipation what would happen next. The crowd exhaled a collective breath, a delicate balance of hope and trepidation ringing in the air like a tuning fork. The millionaire's eyes darted around, catching snippets of the hope he had long turned away from. He seemed to be grappling with something far deeper than the mere weight of expectations. Every pair of eyes was focused on him, and he felt the charge, like electricity running through the crowd. I understand your struggle, he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. But trust is hard to come by. I've failed so many times. Lily felt a stirring in her heart. This wasn't just about money. It was about reconnection, healing the wounds of a man who had once cared for this town but felt forsaken. She steadied her voice. It's not about your failures. It's about starting over. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, right? You have a chance to rewrite this story. Mrs. Thompson leaned on her cane, her brows furrowed in concentration. Do it for us, she urged quietly, her frail voice cutting through the air. Do it for those of us left in the rubble. The millionaire looked down, weighty memories crashing like waves in his mind. He had walked those very same streets once, a dreamer like the others. He remembered the laughter, the children playing, the warmth of the community, a stark contrast to the icy silence that now surrounded him. Was this really the opportunity he'd dismissed for too long? Say yes, Marcus echoed, squeezing Lily's hand. Our town, her future, it all hangs in the balance right now. It's never too late to do the right thing. For the first time, the millionaire lifted his gaze back to her, strong, unwavering, holding a flicker of something he had almost forgotten. What if I fail again? Lily met his gaze fiercely. What if you succeed? What if this time, we all succeed together? The crowd fell silent. She could feel everyone's breaths heavy with anticipation. Would he take the leap? Would he join hands to reclaim their shared future? His lips parted as he inhaled deeply, seeming to transform the air of defeat into one of resolve. If you're willing to take that leap with me. He paused, the moment stretching out as the world around them faded into a blur. Then maybe I'll give it a chance. A wave of murmurs rippled through the crowd, their hearts swelling with renewed courage. Lily felt her own pulse quicken, alive with urgency. Yes. She shouted, her voice stronger than ever. Together we can make this town alive again. Gasps and cheers erupted, mingling with the sound of hope. The air felt lighter, brighter. The millionaire's lips curled ever so slightly, a shadow of a smile that hinted at warmth returning to his heart, but doubt still flickered in his eyes. But then a thought invaded Lily's mind, unsettling her. While hope thrived, was it realistic to think they could all come together so easily? The community had fractured for years. How would they soothe the scars? As she looked around, the faces illuminated with newfound hope also revealed the remnants of past hurt. This could be a start. This could also become a quagmire of disappointment if not handled carefully. The crowd continued to buzz with excitement, but beneath it all, Lily felt a tightening in her chest. Could hope be strong enough to heal those wounds? Would the millionaire truly invest in their lives or merely shift his focus further down a path he might choose to abandon again? As the millionaire extended his hand tentatively toward her, a small, flickering fire of possibility igniting between them, she knew a great journey was about to begin. But that journey needed a solid foundation, and doubts lingered like shadows in the sunlight. "Let us make this a reality," he said softly, a gentler resolve settling over him. Lily nodded, but her heart pinched with uncertainty. The ember of hope glowed brightly, but she couldn't shake off a haunting feeling that their biggest challenges were just starting. "Tomorrow," she replied, feeling the weight of her words. "Tomorrow, we bring our plans to life." But who would stand with them? Would the doubts that had festered in their town hold them back? As the crowd dispersed, whispering promises of change and support, Lily glanced back at him, their hands almost touching. And behind the fading excitement lay an unanswered question. Would hope be enough to rebuild what had once been lost? The dawn broke gently over the small town, bathing it in a golden hue that felt almost like a promise. Lily woke with a mix of excitement and anxiety churning in her stomach. Today was the beginning not just for them, but for the entire community. As she got ready, her mind spun with thoughts of what was to come. Could they really change the course of their history? She hurried out, her heart racing. The town square was buzzing with energy. People had gathered as if they were waiting for a festival, their faces alight with the spark of possibility. But as they milled about, shadows of doubt and skepticism loomed. She spotted Mrs. Thompson, still leaning on her cane, her eyes scanning the crowd, searching for reassurance. "Morning, dear," the old woman greeted, her voice wavering but strong. "Are we truly ready for today?" Lily smiled, but her own heart wavered. "We have to be, Mrs. Thompson. This is our chance." Just then, the millionaire arrived, stepping out of his sleek car like a man stepping into a new world. His presence, once imposing and cold, seemed lighter today, more open. Yet, worry still danced in the corners of his eyes. "Good morning, everyone," he announced, his voice steadier than the day before but still tinged with uncertainty. "Today marks a new beginning." The crowd erupted into cheers, but Lily noticed the hesitation beneath their cheers. Martha, one of the town's most vocal critics, crossed her arms as she eyed him suspiciously. "Will you keep your word?" she challenged, her voice cutting through the excitement. The millionaire paused, surprise written all over his face. I intend to, but I need your help. We'll gather ideas, let us put them into action together." Marcus stepped forward, brow furrowed. "And if we don't like your plans? What happens then?" Lily stepped between them, sensing the tension thickening like fog. We must give him a chance. We can't let fear overshadow hope. If we stand together, we can hold each other accountable. The two men shared a glance, an unspoken understanding passing through them. It was a pivotal moment. Could they unite their efforts for a better future? "All right," the millionaire said, genuinely looking at each person in the crowd. "I'm open to your thoughts. But we need to act quickly. Our community has waited long enough." In that instant, something shifted. The crowd began to murmur, ideas bouncing back and forth. Someone called for a community garden, another suggested reopening the town library. Laughter mixed with debate, and Lily felt the hope swell again, each voice louder than the last. Yet, beneath it all, her heart remained heavy. What if the millionaire didn't truly care? What if this was just another fleeting moment of hope doomed to shatter? As the plans began to take shape, she caught glimpses of the past, the hurt, the bitterness, the feelings of abandonment that still lingered. This wasn't a straight road to recovery, it was a labyrinth they had to navigate together. With each passing moment, fear crept back in, threatening to snuff out the fragile flame they had ignited. Could this time be different? Would the millionaire truly invest his heart, or just his money? Among the whirlwind of creativity and laughter, Lily felt her breath catch. As the sun shone down, illuminating the smiles, she searched the crowd for clarity, but all she could see were the shadows of doubt looming against the bright backdrop of hope. Would they ultimately become a beacon of resilience or stumble over the very cracks of their past? The crowd buzzed around her, energy surging as they laid the groundwork for a new tomorrow. But Lily's heart was still heavy with the burden of hope. She took a deep breath, knowing this was just the beginning. It could either blossom or break apart. And then, just as she thought she found her footing, a sharp voice broke through the excitement. "Wait! Are we really going to trust him with our dreams?" In that moment, every eye turned back towards the millionaire, the air thick with questions and uncertainty. Would he step up, solidifying their fragile bond, or would this moment turn sour, haunting them all over again? Lily's heart raced, the tension in the air palpable as she glanced from the suspicious faces surrounding the millionaire to his own anxious expression. He opened his mouth to respond, but the words hesitated on his lips. The uncertainty hung heavy, hanging like a storm cloud threatening to burst. "Listen." His voice cut through the murmurs, steady yet filled with vulnerability. "I know your past. I know the disappointment this town has faced, and maybe I'm the last person you want to trust. But today, I'm standing here without a shield or armor. Just a man wanting to make things right." The crowd stirred. Whispers flitted through the air, doubtful, hopeful, but most importantly, spirited. Lily's insides churned. Could he really mean it? She wanted to believe that today wasn't just another fleeting moment, but the start of something real. A moment passed, and Martha, still skeptical, replied, "Words are easy to say. What's your plan? Show us what you envision for this town, don't just tell us." The millionaire took a step forward, his brow furrowing in determination. "Let's start with community needs. I want to hear from you directly. We have to ensure that whatever we build next, every voice matters. A town hall meeting, tonight. We can outline our ideas, together." A mix of expressions crossed the crowd: surprise, consideration, and even excitement. Lily could feel the energy shift, the shadows of doubt were easing, if only slightly. Older folks murmured to each other, nodding slowly in tentative agreement. "All right," Marcus said, suddenly more engaged. "Let's see if you're up for the challenge. But you need to understand, our dreams are not just bargaining chips." The billionaire nodded, his gaze resolute. "Then I want to start with your dreams, not mine. We'll craft a plan every step of the way. I want to lead, I'll follow your vision." And at his words, a ripple of hope coursed through the crowd. It was not a full-blown affirmation, but a door slowly creaking open. Lily saw mouths forming words of possibilities: the community garden, a youth mentorship program, renovation of the old schoolhouse. But even as they enthusiastically shared their ideas, the weight of skepticism remained. It fluctuated between fear and dream. Would this colossal figure really keep his promise? Or was this just a game for him, one he intended to play and leave behind when the curtain fell? Lily couldn't shake the feeling she was straddling two worlds, one filled with doubt and past hurts, and another bursting with potential. A flicker of courage ignited inside her. "We don't just need a leader, we need someone who believes in us," she shouted, surprising even herself. "Tell us you see us. That you see our worth." His gaze found hers in the sea of faces. "Then let me prove it. Together, we'll create something I couldn't have built alone. Just this once, let us hope for something bigger than our fears." The sun was beginning to dip lower in the sky, the light painting a vivid picture that felt almost cinematic. But even as excitement swirled, lots of hands raised, voices animated, Lily felt a cold wave crash over her thoughts. It was one thing to dream, and another to risk everything on the words of someone still largely unknown. But suddenly, a small child tugged on her shirt, eyes wide with innocence. "Will we really be better, Miss Lily?" The question echoed in the newfound breeze of hope, powerful and so pure. As she knelt to meet the child's gaze, a wave of responsibility washed over her. "We will do everything we can," she said, a mixture of fear and promise in her voice. That was the moment she realized the truth. Change was not solely about believing in the millionaire's intentions. It was about drawing strength from within herself and the community around her. The murmurs of planning turned to excitement as they began discussing more possibilities in earnest. But then, just as laughter began to fill the square, a shadow crossed Lily's face. What if this effort fell apart like everything else before? A chilling silence gripped her heart, and the child's innocent question lingered in the air, heavy with hope. Lily stood back, considering her next steps carefully. The hourglass of fate was turned upside down, and its grains were beginning to slip. Now, what if the answer lay in facing the shadows and asking the toughest questions they had yet to confront? Would they dare to uncover the truth together? Lily felt her breath hitch slightly as the weight of the town's fears pressed down on her. The flickering hope that had ignited a moment ago was now battling against a storm of doubts. She stood up, the small child still holding her hand, and scanned the enthusiastic faces around her. Each expression told a different story, and she could sense a fragile connection weaving through the crowd. Would they risk their hearts yet again? "Tonight," Lily called out, her voice rising above the chatter. "Let us bring our deepest fears, our highest dreams, and lay them bare for everyone to see. If we're going to trust him, we have to start by trusting each other." Surprisingly, hands shot up in the air, and disagreements erupted, escalating into a discussion that felt both chaotic and freeing. Sparks of creativity flew as they debated ideas. The community garden made way for a youth arts program, and the old schoolhouse suddenly turned into a hub for outreach. The potential grew larger by the minute, and for a heartbeat, uncertainty faded into something bright and lively. The millionaire watched, a tiny, disbelieving smile playing at the corners of his lips. Lily couldn't help but glance back to him, his eyes reflected a mix of admiration and hope he didn't yet know how to channel. He absorbed everything, appearing more at ease as the community let their walls down, even if just a little. Then, without warning, Martha's voice rang deep and steady again, cutting through the growing excitement. "What if this doesn't work?" Her tone was skeptical yet concerned. "What if it's all talk and no action?" The crowd quieted again, and suddenly the room felt smaller. An uneasy tension filled the air. Lily bit her lip, her own fears echoing in Martha's words. What if this was more than just another cycle of broken promises? The billionaire cleared his throat, standing taller now. "That's the risk we take," he admitted, his voice sincere. "But I promise you, I'm here to listen first, to understand your concerns, your dreams. I won't sugarcoat it. There will be obstacles, and I can't promise perfection. But I can promise to fight alongside you." The murmurs started again, a wave of possibility mingled with caution. Lily's heart beat faster. Was he truly ready to stand with a town that had long felt abandoned? A woman named Angela, her hands calloused and worn, stepped toward the front. "If you're serious, we need real investment, real changes. It's South about making this place not just livable, but beautiful." Lily felt a thrill run through the crowd. They weren't asking for handouts, they yearned for respect. This was more profound than funding or infrastructure. They were yearning for validation, for their voices to matter in reclaiming their identity. "Together, we'll draw the blueprint of your community," the millionaire said, his eyes sparkling with genuine enthusiasm. "Let us dream loud and clear. Let us build something that brings hope back into our lives." Cheers erupted, and the child's earlier question, "Will we really be better, Miss Lily?" transformed into an anthem of belief. Lily found herself smiling, the weight of worry lifting just a little. Maybe, just maybe, they were on the brink of something incredible. But as the night settled closer around them, a creeping sense of unease didn't quite leave her heart. What would happen when reality set in? The glimmer of excitement felt like a flicker of flame, beautiful but fragile. Just then, a sudden shout broke through the exhilaration. A man on the edge of the crowd interrupted, his voice laced with indignation. "And what if this is all a trick? What if you really are just here to make money off us? This town has been used before." His words hit like a punch to the gut. The cheers fell silent, replaced with a thick atmosphere of doubt. Lily's insides twisted again. The truth hovered uncomfortably. What if all of this was built on shaky ground? Her heart raced. They had taken so many steps forward, but with one question lingering, the energy shifted. Could they truly trust him? Was the hope they had ignited strong enough to withstand the storm of skepticism? Would they confront that fear together, or would it cause this new beginning to slip away? One thing was certain: the path to the truth lay ahead, and they would need to face it, together. Lily felt the air grow thick with uncertainty. The man's words echoed in her mind, amplifying her own silent fears. She glanced around, absorbing the expressions on her neighbors' faces. What she saw there was a mix of vulnerability and resolve. They were scared but hungry for change. The millionaire shifted, taking a deep breath. "I understand your skepticism," he replied, keeping his gaze steady on the man who stood defiantly in the crowd. "But I'm here for more than money. I want to build relationships, to create an alliance with this town. Let us create a future together, where your voices matter." A silence hung in the air. Was it enough? The man who had shouted scoffed, crossing his arms as if to fortify his position. "Words are easy," he said, his voice firm, "actions speak louder. What are you really willing to do?" Lily's heart raced, and she stepped forward, her voice cutting through the tension. "What if we tell you what we want? The real dreams we've only whispered between ourselves." She looked out at the faces of her neighbors, searching for support. Angela nodded, stepping beside Lily. "Let us create a list: projects, ideas, changes that matter. We're not here to just accept whatever you're offering. We're here to lead the change ourselves." Encouragement rippled through the crowd as hands shot up again. One by one, they began calling out their ideas: a new community center, a playground for the kids, a place for artists to create and share. Each idea came alive in the air, weaving threads of enthusiasm into the fabric of possibility. The millionaire listened intently, jotting notes as he walked closer to the front. He maintained eye contact, leaning in. Lily felt her heart swell. This was the kind of compassion they had longed for, the kind of genuine interest that felt rare and precious. Lily could see something shifting in his expression. "These are incredible ideas," he said, almost breathlessly. "I want to help. Let us start small and build from there. What if we nicknamed these projects after the people who inspired them?" "A personal touch," he suggested. The crowd murmured, names were spoken, laughter intertwined with serious hopes. The weight of doubt began to lift, and Lily felt something other than fear emerge in her heart. But then the earlier tension returned. A different voice from the back piped up, and what happens when the money runs out? What if you just get bored and walk away? The fear crept back, weaving its way through the crowd once more. The doubt still loomed, thick and dark. Lily's hope flickered, and just as quickly, it reignited. She took a step back, feeling the energy change in the room. But what if we commit too? She said, her heart pounding. Let us pledge ourselves to this community, to uphold our promises. If we're going to make this happen, it can't just be him investing in us, it has to be all of us investing in each other. The crowd fell silent, contemplating her words. Weighed against the risk of heartbreak was the chance for something great. Finally, Martha spoke again, her voice softer now. Okay, but how do we hold each other accountable? Fear won't go away just because we want it to. Lily felt a surge of emotion. We create a council, a group of representatives from our community. We meet regularly, check in with each other. It's not just about him giving, it's about us taking action, too. Cries of agreement filled the air, voices rising higher and higher with excitement. This wasn't just a chance to rebuild their town, it was a chance to reclaim their ownership over what they had lost. The billionaire nodded, a mixture of surprise and admiration lighting his features. I'm in, he said. I'm ready to be held accountable. Together, we can build trust the right way. Hope glimmered, brighter now, a beacon amidst uncertainty. But just then, a loud crash erupted from the side of the gathering. Everyone turned, stunned, as a truck careened into view, the sound cutting through their excitement like cold air. What had happened? All eyes were drawn as the scene unfolded. Was this an unforeseen challenge that would derail everything they had begun? Who had come driving into their moment of unity, and what would this new turn mean for their fragile hope? The crowd gasped, hands flew to mouths, and panic rippled through like a tidal wave. Lily squinted, trying to make sense of the chaos. The truck roared to a stop, tires screeching against the gravel, and moments later, the back door swung open. Dust clouded the area as they watched, hearts racing. Two men jumped out, faces bright with adrenaline but pale with urgency. They were shouting, a mix of warning and desperation. Get back! Everyone, get back! One of them waved his arms, ushering the crowd away from the wreckage. Lily's breath caught in her throat. She didn't understand. Was this a threat? Just moments ago, they had been united in a burgeoning hope. Now, with the truck looming like a dark storm cloud, their dreams hung in the balance. The millionaire stepped forward, his calm demeanor visibly shaken. What is going on? He demanded, his voice firm yet tinged with concern. We need to get the gas, quick. One of the men shouted, fear lacing his tone. There's a leak. It could explode. Lily felt a chill run down her spine. Gas? An explosion? The sensation of hope started to slip away, fading like a wisp of smoke. But then, a thought crept in, they couldn't let fear dictate their response. We have to help. She shouted, her voice breaking through the chaos. Some in the crowd began to retreat, but a few, emboldened by her call, stepped towards the truck. Angela grabbed Lily's arm. Are you crazy? She asked, wide-eyed. We don't know what else is in there. What if we figure it out together? Lily insisted, her heart pounding loudly against her ribs. If we run now, we might regret not doing something. We can't let fear win. A flicker of resolve sparked in the eyes of those around her, and slowly they began to move forward, tossing aside worries that had been weighing them down. As they approached the truck, the two men looked touched by their willingness. One of them, taller with a rugged look, spoke up. We need to shut off the main valve. Will you help? Lily nodded, adrenaline surging. What do we need to do? Follow my lead. He shouted back, energy igniting the air around them as they worked together in unison. The crowd mirrored the escalating urgency, listening intently for directions, ready to act. It felt like no longer being victims of their fears, but heroes of their community. As they lifted the metal panel to locate the valve, moments passed that felt like hours. Lily's hands trembled, but she pressed on, driven by the belief that they weren't just fixing a leak, they were stitching their frayed community back together. Finally, the valve was shut off and collective relief coursed through the group like electricity. The two men stepped back, gratitude on their faces, eyes glistening with unshed tears. "You did it," one of them said, barely able to contain his emotion. "You saved lives today." As the crowd erupted in applause, a sense of intimacy enveloped the scene. They had faced fear together, united in action. And suddenly, from the shadows of the truck, a figure emerged, a woman with a knowing smile, her eyes shining brightly. "You all have just brought something amazing to life," she said softly. "Change is not just born from dreams but from action when it matters most." Lily's heart soared, but questions lingered in the air. Who was she? How had she known? Before they could voice their thoughts, she continued, "And this is only the beginning. I have something important to share that could change everything for you." The crowd hushed, anticipation building. What revelation was on the horizon, and how far would it take them on this journey? The woman stepped forward, her eyes sparkling with the promise of something deeper, something transformative. The crowd leaned in, breathless, waiting for her to continue. It felt electric, as if the very air were charged with possibility. "I'm Emma," she said, her voice steady and warm. "And what you accomplished today is just the start. You've proven to yourselves that unity can overcome fear. But I'm here to share what's next, a chance for all of you to turn this community around." Lily felt a mix of hope and skepticism. "What do you mean?" she asked, a layer of vulnerability creeping into her voice. Emma smiled gently. "I have access to resources, people, and programs that can help you all. Your bravery today showed that you're willing to fight for each other, and it's time to build on that strength." The crowd was buzzing now, exchanging glances, some whispering excitedly. "But what do we need to do?" One voice piped up, cutting through the rising tide of anticipation. "First, you need to believe," Emma replied simply. "Believe that you can pave your own way to a better future. I can guide you in setting up community projects, educational programs, maybe even a small business that will provide jobs for everyone." Lily's heart raced. The visions of improvement danced in her mind. Small businesses, education, a thriving community. Could they really grasp that future? "What's the catch?" she asked, her voice steady. "Is there something you're not telling us?" Emma chuckled softly. "It's not a catch. It's an opportunity. I want to invest in this community, but I need your commitment and your passion. No handouts, this will be built on your hard work. Each project will be a testament to your unity." Angela chimed in, "But how do we start?" "First, gather your ideas," Emma instructed, her gaze sweeping over the crowd. "Hold meetings, brainstorm what matters most to you. Develop a plan. I will be here to facilitate and connect you with those who can help. But it's vital that it comes from all of you." Excitement mixed with fear rippled through the crowd. They had faced down the fear of the gas leak. Was it possible to face this bigger fear of the unknown? Lily glanced around, seeing hopeful expressions, but also uncertainty. "And if we fail? What then?" Emma's smile faltered a moment, a shadow passing over her face. "If you fail, you learn. Every step is part of the journey. And you'll never be alone in that journey. But if you don't try, you'll never know the heights you could reach together." With those words, courage flooded back into Lily. What if this was their moment? The spark of unity in the crowd began to ignite, whispers of agreement rising to a chorus. "Let us do it then," someone shouted. The collective determination felt like a heartbeat, pounding together, building momentum. But just as the energy surged, Emma raised a finger. Just one more thing. Lily's breath caught again. What else could there be? I also need to reveal a part of who I am, Emma said, a newfound solemnity in her tone. Before I began this journey, I was just like many of you, a girl from a community that had almost given up. Eyes widened. An unsettling feeling gripped the crowd as they sensed that something significant was about to unfold. How did she rise? Lily thought, her mind racing. Emma paused, gathering her strength. There's power in every story. And my story is foundational to everything I hope to build with you. It may change everything you think you know. Lily could barely breathe. What kind of journey had Emma been on? And how would this change the path ahead for all of them? The same thought coursed through the crowd quietly, but surely could their futures really be transformed? As Emma began to share her past, hearts pounded, and a new sense of hope began to gather like a storm on the horizon. Emma took a deep breath, pulling the room's energy into her story. I grew up in a town much like yours, she began, her voice a soft melody against the backdrop of the lingering tension. Dreams shattered by circumstances beyond our control, yet fueled by the unwavering spirit of my community. I watched my town struggle, just as you've watched yours. But I also witnessed what happened when we decided to stand together. Silence enveloped the crowd, their hearts synchronized with hers, every beat an echo of longing for change. Maybe I wasn't born with a silver spoon, but my community believed in me. And it was that belief that ignited the fire inside me, Emma continued, her eyes sparkling with unfiltered memories. I left my small town, and with it, the same dreams you fight for today. Education led to opportunities, but my journey was always about returning to help those who nurtured my spirit. Lily felt a warmth blossom within her. This wasn't just another story, but a shared heartbeat. She came back to help, she thought, filled with a new kind of determination. I want to help you reignite your town's legacy, Emma said, her voice taking on a fervent edge. This isn't just about money. It's about growth. It's about reclaiming your lives. If you open your hearts, and your minds, there's no limit to what your community can achieve together. A crescendo of murmurs rolled through the crowd, a whisper of disbelief swirling with the stirring embers of hope. For the first time, a shared vision began coalescing in their minds. Lily could sense the air thickening with possibility. Emma continued, her own eyes gleaming with passion. It won't be easy, obstacles will come. But listen to me, trust each other. You've already conquered a fear today, that courage can be your foundation. As she finished speaking, the crowd erupted into a chorus of applause. The initial doubts began to dissolve, enthusiasm bubbling up like a pot on the stove, ready to boil over. Lily's heart soared as she looked around at her neighbors, faces glimmering with newfound energy and inspiration. They were finally united by their goals, fueled by hope and the promise of a better tomorrow. She wanted to run up to Emma, to hug her tightly and thank her for the spark she had given. But Lily felt someone clutch her arm. It was Marcus, urgency shining in his gaze. Lily, he said, this is it. We have to act on this momentum tonight. Let us get a meeting going, invite everyone. It's time to raise our voices and transform our ideas into plans. We've got to seize this while it's hot. Her heart racing, Lily nodded fervently, encouragement coursing through her. Right. Let us find a place anywhere we can gather people and share Emma's vision. The crowd buzzed with excitement, fresh ideas igniting. The community center. Someone suggested, and they all agreed. It was a beloved spot, full of laughter and connection. The very heart of their town. As the old building came into view, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that they were not just entering a space, but a world of possibilities. The conversations glided back and forth, energy building as they prepared for their town meeting. They arranged chairs in a circle, an open forum where everyone could voice their thoughts without judgment, where dreams could collide and bloom. The moment they gathered was electric, a spontaneous combustion of enthusiasm and hope. Emma took her place beside Lily, joining the circle, watching as the town unfurled its dreams, fears, and aspirations. "Let us talk about what we truly want," Emma said, her voice a guiding light. "Share your personal visions for this town and how we can help each other." Hands flew up, voices ringing out. "I want a community garden where kids can learn about sustainability." Another voice shouted, "An art center for local artists." Laughter intertwined with tears, as people spoke of their wishes for schools, playgrounds, and spaces where everyone would feel welcome and heard. Lily felt enchanted, watching ideas unfurl like petals reaching for the sun. Each person shared their deepest dreams, and shadows of doubt began to dissolve under the warmth of acceptance. They were starting to bond, starting to believe not just in Emma's visions but in their own. As the meeting wound down, emotions ran high, joy tangible in the air. They crafted a list of projects, shimmering under a light of hope. They faced the challenges together, across fears and failures. They were ready to begin rebuilding their home. Emma stood, filled with pride. "You are no longer just individuals, you're a powerful community, and I'll stand with you every step of the way." Tears shimmered in Lily's eyes as she glanced around. A newfound family had emerged. They were bound not just by their struggles but by their shared strength. The time had come to take the leap of faith. As they embraced this journey, Lily felt an extraordinary warmth tugging at her heart. They would rise together. They would trust, and they would rebuild. Standing at the threshold of change, Lily whispered to herself, a vow resonating deep within her spirit, "This is just the beginning." And so, with hearts united, a wave of love and resilience washed over them all, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Fear would not define them anymore. Hope, connection, and community would shape their story. This town was theirs to reclaim, and together, they would bask in their victory over despair. Don't miss the extraordinary tales of courage and perseverance. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and boost our community. Comment below with your feelings and reactions to this inspiring ending. And please, share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to show your support now. Let us create change together.